hello to what, honestly, look, we're 7 seconds in the video. I'm ready to come out with something controversial. Welcome to what possibly may be, potentially, the worst piece of content I've ever made on this channel. And that's saying a lot. That's going far. We've put all kinds of detritus, bottom of the barrel stuff, depraved. Some of the topics we touch on, some of the burning modern issues that get. Oh, didn't start my timer for the video. Some of the burning issues we're always at the forefront of the hottest discourse. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for the third. I think this is the fourth time doing it actually, which is insane that we did the first one 3 years ago. The fourth annual Poker March Madness April edition. We're doing it, we're back, and oh baby, listen, if you thought last year, if you're not familiar, March Madness, they do the brackets. Poker March Madness, they do the brackets but with Pokemon in them. First year, I'm pretty sure it was just like, this is my favourite Pokemon from each gen. Second year, at some point we did all the gym leaders from each gem. Then we did like a variety year. It was like, oh, here's all the best, Pokemon champions. Here's the best fathers, here's the best mommies. Well, if you thought mommies, if you were going crazy for best poker mommies, wait till you see what we've got cooked up for you this year. Allow me one moment. Ka-chow. PMMS4 Gen 1 bracket fight. Oh, actually, that doesn't say what it is. I was hoping I'd have like a title to read. I'd say it's this, and I don't have to say it. That's just what I'm reading. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be finding out which Pokemon I want to smash the most, which is just incredible. How do they come up with these things? Let the record show, I don't actually want to smash any Pokemon. Well, like probably any. I don't actually. I've said my piece on the Poker Nut guy. Big fan. If you watch this Poker Nut guy, big fan of your work. We've talked about the Poker Nut guy on the channel before. I think it was in the Fall Guys episode. For the most part, I think that was probably not worth it for him. But who's really to decide that than the man himself? Big up to him for doing something that I could not even dare to imagine to do. I'm just not brave enough. I'm not a Poker Nut kind of guy. I don't tend to want to smash. I don't tend to play slide the cartridge in the Switch, slide the cartridge in the Game Boy, the GBA, and go right. Let's see who I'm horny over today. Not my kind of thing. I'm not throwing the Pokeballs out, getting into a fight and going, ooh, she's a baddie. Looking at the Eevee. Not my kind of thing personally. No judgment here though. However, this is going to be fascinating. I believe this was inspired this year by Markiplier. I think is where the idea came from. I think Josh came up with it first. To be honest, my involvement, I do this every year with two good buddies of mine, Josh Jersian and Jacob NSL, both of whom I'll link in the description. So there'll be a bunch of links in the description. I'll go through them. This is going to be a long intro because it's the first one, but all the rest I'll just jump straight into. We do these every year. My involvement with the organisation tends to be, hey Reese, are you down for Pokemon March Madness again this year? And I go, yes sir. Say no more, of course I am. And they go, cool, here's what the theme is this year. That's exciting, I'm in. Then, a couple of weeks will pass, hey Reese, here's the first draft of the brackets. We're just drafting them up, let us know if you have any ideas, hit me back. Then a couple more weeks pass and we go, hey Reese, here's the final draft for the brackets. This is probably what we're going to run with, just let me know if you think you've got any more ideas or anything that you want to change. Then a month passes and Josh uploads every single episode, thumbnails, public, all 9 episodes are up on YouTube. Suddenly it's April and I'm going, right, let's open up Messenger and have a look at these brackets then. What are we saying? So shout out to Josh and Jacob for being the brainstorming behind this, the ideas guys, and shout out to Jacob for organising it all. I'm probably gonna check back to my stream mods quite a lot, because when I was setting all this up, the webcam kept freezing quite a bit, which I always thought was a problem with my computer, but maybe the webcam's fucked because it kept happening. I'm wondering, I think mostly 90% of the issue with any technical issue I had was my computer. However, I am starting to think maybe the webcam's fucked because there's a couple of USB devices that I used to use on my PC that have been a bit finicky on my laptop. Even my mic doesn't really plug in right, so I kind of think a lot of my shit's been fucked, to be honest. So I'll probably be periodically just clicking back to stream apps just to make the webcam still going. Side note as well, I'm sorry that it's a weird angle. I had it straight on, and the framing was perfect. But what I didn't think about, I'm using a laptop sat on my bed, and it was like, there was like a warp effect put on it on Premiere. Even though I was like sat, it just wobbles constantly, and I was like, this is gonna make anyone watching this throw up. Even people who don't have motion sickness are going to throw up if they watch this. So I've had to kind of do like a makeshift setup, which of course unfortunately means I'm at a bit of an angle, which isn't ideal. So am I at least like centered? Maybe I need to move this way a bit. Look, I know it's not great. I'm like diagonal, but unfortunately it's gonna have to do for now. But at least you got like a cool background. I put my my Bulbasaur up in the background so you could see him when the camera was straight, and now I'm just completely blocking him. That was the one bit of the background I actually was like wanting people to see, was the Bulbasaur and the Kirby, and I'm sat in front of it. Anyway, I have not seen. Two last things to say. I know it's been 6 minutes already. Two last things we're getting jumping into this. First and foremost is I have not seen any of Josh's videos. They are all up. Links in the description. You're going to get a link to Josh's channel. You're going to get a link to Jacob's channel. They're both doing this as well, and they do it every year. Josh's 9 episodes are all up. He's done the whole thing already. What we tend to do is we don't watch each other's brackets until we've done them, so that like we don't know, we're not influenced by each other's opinions. We don't know how we're approaching it, that kind of thing. To be honest, mostly just for me and Jacob. I think Josh doesn't watch our brackets before he does his, just because he usually has done them all before we've even done episode 1. So I think he doesn't really have much of a say in that matter. That kind of just happens by proxy. But yeah, so I've not seen any of Josh's. I don't know what he's picked. This is going to be fascinating to me, because these are two individuals who I love to pieces. Their opinions, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but their opinion, I value their opinions, their worldviews, and insight on their their outlook is something that's important to me, that I cherish, and I always love to hear from these guys how their brains work, what they're thinking, what their opinions are. I cannot wait to hear them talk about which Pokemon they want to smash the most. That's going to be fascinating. That said, I don't know what any of them have picked, but they will be linked in the description. I'll also have my playlist for the past Pokemon Madness videos I've done. Also linked will be a link to, first of all, the bracket for the independent, like each individual video. I'll have that bracket linked in the description, but there'll also be a link to Jacob's bracket fight profile, because he actually puts all these together and makes the bracket so that I have some pretty images to click on. So shout out to Jacob for that. They're all on here every year. Here we go, the gym leaders, the trial captains, Season 3 where we did all kinds of like variety ones, Elite Four, player characters, side characters. There's loads of different ones, and obviously all 9 gens. So this is all of them that we've done here, and of course all his brackets as well are saved. But I'd recommend just watching his videos if you want to see those, because that's more entertaining. So yeah, this makes me look bad. I do follow him on Twitter, for the record. I do follow him on. This is making me look bad. There we go. Following. There we go. That nearly made me look awful. Anyway, let's start. The very last thing. That was thing number 1. Thing number 2. What we're doing to make this a little bit more interesting. I have some. I have to catch up a little bit. I've fallen a bit behind. I'm gonna sit here and record not all of them, because there's 9 of them, but most of these in one go. Now, I thought it'd be funny to see how I deteriorate as we go along here. However, I also didn't want it to get to episode 5 or 6 and I'm just like defeated and depressed. So what I thought I'd do to make it a little bit more interesting is introduce alcohol into the equation. Now, I don't want to be pissed, because I've done one piece of drunk content ever. It was a stream about 2 years ago, and I've regretted it every waking day of my life since. So I just want a little bit of a buzz. So we're limiting ourselves to like a beer an episode, and then we'll just see where it goes. I'm just going to clear out some of the leftovers I've got. For now, I'm sat with just a 330 of Champanulas, because I had 1 can left. To be fair, 5.5%, which always surprised me considering how cheap Champs is. That is as strong as it is, but that's probably the point. To be fair, but that's just as a side note. Look, I'm not going to go crazy. We're just going to see what happens. Just as a little appetizer, just a little side dish to try and spice things up. And also, quite frankly, I don't really want to say, hey, here's 2 Pokemon, which one would I rather put my penis in? Completely sober. So that's what we're doing here. Salud, and let's get started. 10 minutes in. Right. So, pick number one. Realistically, probably one of the easiest picks we're gonna do this whole series. Dare I say? This is one of the few that I'd thought of beforehand because, as you may or may not know, Bulbasaur, one of my my favorite Pokemon of all time. There are a few like favorites of mine I'm concerned about: Nidoran, Turtwig, Grookey. That are like I can't, I can't do that to my boys. I could not. How can you? How can you smash a Bulbasaur, man? First of all, well, I don't know, because in my head, because I've had this plushie for a few years now, in my head, a Bulbasaur is like this big. That's a good size for a Bulbasaur to me. Obviously, he's a frog, and it's big for a frog. This to me is like how big a Bulbasaur is, and this would be, I would love, if they were real, this would be like ideal size for me to have one of these in real life. Or, cuddle up on your lap, you'd stroke it. I'm pretty sure they're actually substantially bigger than this. But in my head, they're this big. In which case, you'd be like, I couldn't. You'd be you. It'd feel wrong. I think smashing anything of this kind of size. I don't know. We'll see how things develop. I mean, it's got the hole at the top. It probably has a butthole. He's far too innocent, and realistically much bigger than this. So I think the hole on the top and his mouth is quite big. They'd be too big. I think they'd be really, really wide. Muck, is that Muck? Come on, it's too obvious. First of all, spell his name backwards. It's meant to be. Second of all, he's putty. He's slime. You just like wrap it round. That's the easiest. That's gotta be the easier. He's lube with a face, and like a different colour. Granted, the thing that would be off-putting is I bet he stinks. He probably stinks because it's like sludge, right? Is it? He's not He's not like radioactive, is he, or toxic? But he is like It's called muck. It's muck, right? So it's muck. Muck's not bad. A little dirt. People do crazy things in like mud anyway. They do mud sports and they bang in mud. I don't think I think that's probably one of the easiest ones we've done. He might stink. He might. But I don't think, if you just muck. My concern is there oil in him? I don't know, to be honest with you. That's my concern. It could be worse. It could be much worse. I think that's going to be one of the easiest ones we pick in the hole, because you can't do a Bulbasaur. Right, these two, okay. I mean, this guy, you're going to get hurt probably. You might get bitten, but with this guy, I don't know what you're smashing there, but it's going to be soft. You're going to be bouncing off it. This guy, rock hard, skinny, not really much to grab onto. That one's easy. Okay, this one, listen. He's got a big old tongue. This guy, again, solid, rock hard. He's going to slice you up. Although, to be fair, he do be leaving some scratches. He's got a big old tongue. He's got a big old tongue, man. That's easy. Caterpie, come on. You can't... Obviously, it's a Caterpie. You can't do anything. Now, it depends. So I don't know how... Because I've not watched The Boys yet. Or I think Jacob's not had a chance to get one up yet. Because, like myself, very busy. But I've not watched... so obviously I've not watched Jacob's, but I've not watched Josh's either. I don't know how they've sort of quantified how... their willingness on like one versus the other, or like what sort of qualities they've looked for, or how much detail they've gone to. I don't know what we put kind of as the line on a smash or a not smash. I'm not saying we need a full on. I reckon some kind of experience. You could put a Caterpie somewhere if you wanted. I'm not that kind of guy, but he's a good shape to be put somewhere. That said, I think I'd get on more with the Dragonite. Oh, these are both bad. But one is, like, significantly worse. This just reminds me of the movie Teeth. You can't do anything with Pinsir, right? Now, poly, poly, what? Polywhirl, I don't think there's much to do with it. It has hands. I think we work with Polywhirl. This has got to be Chansey, because what would you even do with that? Look, a lot of these, I'm like, Chansey, what would you do with a Chansey? But what would you do with a Porygon? This one, come on. I hate it. I hate that this is as easy as it is, just because of like what society's led us to. But what can you do with this guy, man? Obviously, oh, it's gonna be the Jolteon. This one's interesting because you don't know what's going on underneath here. Now, if it's like some of the art I've seen, there's like a big muscly guy down there. Easy pick. However, I don't think it's actually like that. I think they're just like worms, kinda, is how I've always pictured them. Again, someone a bit more creative and explorative than myself could use those as a tool. And the thoughts there. Yeah, no. Because then you'd have to, yeah, no, I'm with that. We'd have a bit of fun. Easy. Obviously, we're picking the tentacles. We know where they go. Right, this one's so we've got Owo, we've got Uwu versus Elwo, basically. This guy reminds me of he's got like Shane from Stardew Valley vibes. He's that kind of, like an angsty boy. Realistically, I'm trying to picture like what they'd look like humanized in art form. This is probably more my speed. What does that mean? Okay, Electabuzz or Nidoking is an interesting pairing. This guy would ruin me. This guy I could fight back a bit. I'd hold my own a little bit. Okay. Come on. No, actually, to be fair, this depends on how far along the OO spectrum you are, because the OO scale, if you will. I feel like a lot of fellas out there would go, this is a safe option. This is a safe option. But I think this who you pick here decides how far along the OO scale you are. Anything beyond 50%, you're picking Arcanine. If you pick Arcanine, you're beyond 50%. I hate to say it, you don't get a say in the matter. Now, this interests me because I reckon Josh, on paper, is an easy Weeping Bell. Because what did mouth do? But I'm just saying, if he's picked Arcanine, and I know he loves Arcanine, it's one of his faves, I know he's a big Arcanine fan, he's on his way to thirdom, I have to say. He's on his way. That said, what did that mouth do, though? Okay, another easy one. Another easy one. Because they both only have two... But this guy, there's no teeth on this guy. Or maybe they're a little bit further in. That's a terrifying thought, that you look at this and go, no, it'll bite. Fuck that. I'll slide it down the tube and then there's teeth further at the back. That's scary. But at least you'd only lose the head. I mean, realistically, what would that mouth do? This is fucked, by the way. This is a fucked up one. And for that reason, you get no explanation. Okay, this one, easy. Again, the innocence of Bulbasaur is gone. That guy, I know for a fact, is absolutely massive. It's covered in warts. It's got a big stinky flower on the back. Mouth's too big to do anything. Arsehole's going to be stinky. This thing, mouth, I see no teeth. And also, it's like coiled around 24/7. It'd squeeze the hell out of it. That'd be great. Now you're getting a little... Because, like, I don't trust that mouth. It's a Venus flytrap. Shit would get trapped in there. But this guy got nothing going on. Or you could just give, like, a little off-course gentleman's handy. I trust that. I respect that. Okay. Listen, Blastoise, Blastoise can't really do anything to me. To a girl, I bet Blastoise could go crazy if I was a girl. However, unfortunately, not a girl. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Okay? Hate to say this. That's quite an easy pick. Unfortunately. And it's unfortunate that it is. And I truly, it's with a heavy heart that I make that comment. That was an easy pick. There's been some heavy hitters on this side already. Obviously, I'm not fucking a big rock. Don't be crazy. Listen, it's a rat or it's booba. You've got to do it. You have to dumb it down because otherwise you're gonna end up saying some just crazy, insane, off the wall, unfathomable comments that you can never retract. I don't want to sit here and analyse why I would rather smash a Nidoqueen versus a Rattata, because at the end of the day, they're both Pokemon. You have to look when you're in the trenches. It's survival of the fittest, man. You have to say what you've got to say. Nidoqueen has Booba. Case closed. Kazakhstan is a mommy. I'm just saying what I've got to say. We've all thought it. Vaporeon, I've heard the rumours. Squirtle, listen, he didn't get that name by accident. He had to earn a nickname like that. Persian, listen. I'm just someone's. Look, Psyduck. He's egg shaped. You get the Tengers. Listen, I've got a Owo. Okay, this one's a tough one because what the fuck do you do with either of those guys? Realistically, this isn't. You know what? I'm gonna do this because it's gonna get knocked out in the next round anyway. Because those are a bit weak. We're getting some weak ones in here where I'm just doing some quick fire. This looks easier. Yep, that looks easier. It's got a cute face. Look, big old mouth, but too big. I'd be embarrassed because it'd make it look smart. So probably same reason when Dugtrio. We're gonna go Diglett here. Right, now we do that weird thing where it does one side of the bracket first. Okay, bam, easy. What that tongue do? What those hands do? It's a tough. Oh well. I think that the least, if I can get through this video or all these videos saying as little as humanly possible is the only way I'm gonna keep any amount of dignity intact coming out the other side of this. So probably that's just easier, right? What that mouth do? What? No, easy. And the other thing about Ditto, and I think this is cheating, so I'm not going to count this. I'm taking Ditto as its base form. It can be anything, right? So you could just be hey Ditto, transmorph into Grimes. You know what I mean? And it'd be easy. But obviously that'd be cheating. Hey Ditto, be Dove Cameron. You can't just, Hey Ditto, copy this, and then I hold up my signed frame picture of Harry Kane, which is right next to me but has a load of hats on it, so I'm going to leave it there. What did that mouth do? Again, Ekans I think is a sleeper pick. We'll come back to Ekans in a minute because we'll see him again. Ekans is a bit of a multi-tool if you really think about it. Booba, obviously. I'm going to go on record here, by the way. Jacob, honestly, I don't have a clue. And Jacob's is going to be really fascinating. It's going to be a good deep dive into his psyche. I do not have a single clue in what direction he's going to end up taking it. Honestly, now if I was a guess, I reckon some evolutions are going to do good numbers for Jacob. That's probably the best I can come out with. Josh, I think, is a little more, and this is what I'm thinking. Josh, I would say quite strongly now, I bet Nidoqueen has a good run. I would probably put money on Nidoqueen making it to Josh's final. because it's got boober. I'm just gonna say it. That's my guess. I've heard too much about this guy's pH. Squirtle did not get that nickname for nothing. Right, let's worm through him here. I don't know what worm through means. Let's just we need to get to the other side here. We need to get to the other side. What that tongue? Oh, but it's slime though. It's easy. You just, you know. Oh well. Tentacles. Ditto. Hey, right. So here's what I'm saying. There's so many angles you could work this. What that mouth do? A gummy mouth, no teeth, by the way. Then you've also got his coil, which could, you know, you just, and it wraps around it. And then you've got these things, which I'm not going to tell you what these look like. You can, this guy's a multi-tool. There's so many, he's like a bop it. Like there's so many ways you could use this guy. That said, oh well, it's actually, like I hate what I've become. Listen, for the sake of like maintaining some dignity, we're gonna stick with Booba because at least that can like equate to something. Oh, he likes this one because it's got Booba, instead of being like he likes this one because it's because oh and like it's the acid, like it's weird reasons to want to pick a Vaporeon, right? He did not get that nickname just shaking hands, let me tell you. Seal's had a good run just because it's gone up against weak opponents, I have to say. Right, listen, we know what kind of my angle is here. Ditto is just slime. Let's never speak of this incident again. You do not get this far by just shaking hands. Okay, Ditto. And then we're gonna go Ditto because it's literally just slime. You just you can just hold it, and there's a whole other half of the bracket, by the way. Let's zoom through these. Probably the Stallion. Ooh, I'd love to see what you could do with this thing. I bet that'd be suckling all over. Oh, that thing could go crazy. Probably this guy because he's like jacked kind of. This guy's spiky as hell. He isn't my type, but this guy's spiky. He's gonna do some damage. What that mouth do? There's gonna be a lot of what that mouth do meta because like what the fuck do you base it on? Realistically, Paul just sent me a TikTok at 5:49 in the morning. Sounds about right. Good morning, Paul. Because like, what else do you base it on? Gonna be honest, don't really like Champanulas. All this glass wasn't washed probably last time it was used because it tastes like too fruity. Ninetales. What that tongue do? Oh baby, he's doing. Listen, he wasn't naturally born with a tongue that length. He had to work. It just stretched from all the activity. Look, we know what this guy looks like. Obviously, he's too hard to do anything with, but we know what he looks like. This is a tough matchup. But, I mean, both of these guys... I mean, realistically, it's not like every single this versus this, you've got to smash one. So who would you rather smash? If it would come to it. But really, you're smashing the winner of the bracket. So realistically, it doesn't matter which one I pick here. I'm not smashing either of them. I'm smashing Ditto. Ooh, baby. Obviously. What that mouth do? This is a fucked up one. What could it? But then a rat. Too small. Too small. I'd hit the back. It's well, so here's the thing. It's gotta be Jinx, right? She's got long blonde hair. She's got booba. I mean, but she's also big old hands, which I don't really like, but she could probably work. I mean, but Again, look at like the look in Lapras's eye compared to Jinx's face. That says all it needs to say. But like Jinx is pretty much like Jinx is the closest to just like a human in this whole list, really. Apart maybe like Machamp. Again, I don't really like this, but he's a bunch of rocks, man. What can I do with that? Okay, you can't do anything with this. This guy is an STI. You have this guy going on down there. You've seen a doctor, so Articuno. Where to know? I guess it's gotta be the easy pick, obviously. Pretty easy pick. He's kind of a hottie. Ooh, this one could be interesting. He'd be able to do a little bit of work with these guys down here. His tentacles, but Ghastly be like fucking air. Yeah, I'd probably the tentacles. You just get hurt with Beedrill, I think. Sandshrews too innocent, but you just get hurt with Beedrill. I guess it's Zapdos, man, because what the fuck do you do with a rock? Oh, this is a toughie. Probably Vulpix, because I don't see Dragonair having much to access. Right, let's zoom through these. Not doing an Ivysaur. We'll fuck a Ghost, because it wouldn't feel like anything. What do those tentacles do? How am I going to do 6 of these? There's 9 in total. It wouldn't break my heart if I didn't get to them all, to be honest. Because I didn't do them all last year. I just never got around to it. You can't even do anything with these guys. But I mean, this is going to be... There's a lot... My webcam's still going, by the way? Yeah. There's a lot. This is... I mean, it's just like, it's a lot, man. I'm feeling like I need a nap. I've only done one. Okay, let's zoom through. Stallion, not a fan of either of these. Probably either one's going to get eliminated next round. Oh, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. That's the hardest one we've come across on this side of the bracket so far. The other side was quite heavily loaded, quite weighted with champs. This is the toughest one we've had. Ninetales is a great OO option, and I am sure, and you can believe me or not believe me, I've genuinely seen like very little in the way of art, of Pokemon art. I've never really explored or even like really stumbled across in all my years, so I genuinely don't really know. I'm not really familiar with the community or like what gets to post. I bet there's loads for Ninetales, and I bet there's some good ones. Now there's probably, to be honest, quite a lot for Lickitung. However, I think most of the Lickitung art will probably just be, look at what he's doing to this person with its tongue. Ninetales has probably got a lot of good anthropomorphized art, whatever the word is. Ninetales, I reckon, has got some good art. We all know what Cloyster looks like. Okay, this guy, obviously, he's freaking ripped. Jinx obviously looks like a lady. What am I supposed to do? Articuno, Hypno gives me the ick. Flareon, oh whoa. Actually, that one's a little bit tougher. But probably Machoke. Humanly, IRL, probably more my type. Tentacles, Sandshrew didn't really have anything going for him. It was just a tough matchup. It was Beedrill one he was matched up against. He can't fuck a Beedrill. Tentacles. He's just warm air. You can't tell me that freaking warm air wouldn't feel lovely. Not great picks. Rapidash has just kind of got here based on its matchups, to be honest. We're breezing through these now. Jinx looks like a woman. Don't feel great about it. Do not feel great about it. Do not feel fantastic about... Now that I've said, I know Tentacle probably looks stronger to go a long way, but now that I've said the thing about doing a ghost is probably just like fucking warm air. Actually, that sounds quite pleasant. It sounds quite cozy. It's not even like that. It's just cozy. Okay. Right. This is a good matchup because these are probably the two most humanoid, maybe macho because this guy's got 4 arms. It's probably the 2 most humanoid characters in like the whole generation. I'm thinking forward, there aren't many in the whole like game series more humanoid than these 2, for the most part. You've got to, I mean, like the face. I like the hair, blonde hair. Booba's good. The face is quite off-putting. This guy, he's ripped. He's got 4 arms. That's gonna be a good time. More to work with. More to aim for. Right. Now, this is this could have been a final. This right here could have been a final. This is a good bout. Because what you've got here, me envisioning in my head, this makes so much more sense. However, I bet if I were to pull up R3-4 right now, I'm going to prefer the art on this side. Honestly. Now, that's off a hunch. I think I would prefer. However, I don't have that research in front of me. I have display capture on, so I'm not going to get that research in front of me. This, to me, feels like an easy Machamp. To be honest. He's ripped. He's just a guy, basically. A ripped guy, but he's got 4 arms. He's going to the final. He's going to the final. You'd have good cuddles afterwards. Look. It makes the most sense. It makes the most sense. He could go to town, and then he could hold you. Does it not? You'd feel safe. You'd feel protected. You'd hurt, probably. It makes the most... Tell me it doesn't make the most sense. You go down in the comments and defend, you're wrong, I'd rather fuck this Pokemon. You can't, because you'd look like a freak to care about which Pokemon you'd want to fuck. To have the passion to argue about which Pokemon is more fuckable, you'd look like the weird one. I'm just clicking on I'm just clicking on the JPEGs. I'm just clicking on what's been put in front of me. You'd look like the weird one for arguing it. So I win. Thanks for watching. I guess that's episode 1. Let's have a little sneak peek here into Gen 2. I think Gen 2, because there was some just have less Pokemon, but there was some where it was like, yeah, a lot of buys here. There was some where it was like, obviously we had to try our best. I say we, I like I said, I had the drafts given to me and just kept forgetting to respond. We didn't want to include anything that looked too like, childlike, obviously, or anything that was too like Minkus. So a lot was removed as well. And to be honest, some of the gens actually had too many Pokemon. So we had to cut some as well. I keep saying we. It wasn't me, Jacob, and Jacob and Josh. But anyway, that was episode 1. I hated it. Thank you very much. Good night.